Planning out your finances is always a stressful activity, but having written down attainable and achievable goals for your wealth year over year is a great way to keep you on the right track and have your money doing the most for you. With it being 2024, I wanted to share with you my 5 core wealth building goals that I have set out for myself this year and how I plan on attaining them this year. But before we get into that, let's talk about some rules for my portfolio moving forward.
But of course, we'd have to figure out a way to avoid the things that cause the little problems. Maybe some rules or something.
Huh.
For 2024, I have a couple different rules that I have set up firmly in my portfolio. First and foremost, I'm investing every week. This is something I've been doing for the past about 2 years. I'll be having $100 going into my taxable account every single week, as well as $120 into my Roth account every single week. My second is I can add one stock. The caveat there is it needs to have a CAGR over 15% because I am focused on some dividend growth this year. I'm not looking to add more than that just because I want to keep my portfolio smaller and build out the positions I currently have in it. And then last but not least, I'm willing to let myself sell out of one stock. The caveat here is obviously if a company suddenly doesn't align with how I want to invest, I'm not going to stay in it. I did recently sell out of quite a few positions as I kind of trimmed my portfolio and set it up in a way that I want it best for me, but I don't want to be going too hardcore with selling out of positions. I want to grow the ones that I have. Those are the rules I have. Now let's get to my goals. In a time where the dollar is stretched thin and the finance space is filled with get-rich-quick scams, settle on the average path to lasting wealth. Hi, I'm Average Andy, and join me as I talk about all things dividend investing and strive to achieve financial flexibility for myself and my family. I'm no financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but if you love to talk dividends and want to join me on this journey, please like and subscribe to the channel. So my first goal is to have a portfolio value of 23K. Now these are listed from least important to most important, but I would like to see that portfolio value grow. As you can see, we currently have a total of just over $13,500. I do have a cash position as well in my portfolio. Based off the number that I expect to invest, that number should be, just in terms of just cash that I put in, close to 20,000 by the end of the year. So ideally, I would like to see about a $3,000 worth of growth, which if you take that out as a percentage, that's a 15% growth year over year. Now, that is a little bit aggressive, obviously, but I do think we're in for a decent stock market year, just based off the rebound we have with interest rates likely set to be lowered and all that. I do think we're going to see the economy rebound. Again, not the end of the world because I know long term I'm going to be growing this for years. So, short term goal though is to see this get over 23K as we finish out 2024. My second goal I have is to receive a $10 dividend payment, but it has to be from one of my core positions. So as you can see here, I have a breakdown of some of my potential monthly income that I'll get from any given stock. Obviously, SCHD has already blown that $10 out of the water, but I really want to get it out of one of my core holdings. One of my core stocks. So not an O, not a gain. Talking about like an Apple, a Broadcom, something like that, in order to make me feel a little bit better. So if you can look at the numbers that I have broken down, probably the most likely one I would say that I would get to is probably Lowe's. They're a position that I'm growing, so I do expect to see that. They have aggressive dividend growth, which helps out. Broadcom's also getting added to, so I could see that take the cake. Kroger's another cheaper one that I'm getting added into, and then Nexstar. I do have to invest in full stocks in those, which is a bit of a downside for it, but I could see them getting there. But ideally, one of these stocks will pay me at least $10 in one single dividend payment. My third goal for 2024 is to receive at least $366 in total dividend income. As you can see, my current projection right now is $325.44. I actually achieved this number last year, over $365, but I did trim some higher yielding positions out of my portfolio to focus some more on growth. But I do expect that number to get there. Long shot goal would be to hit $500 worth of income, just because I want to see that payment going up. And I put 366 as my goal because that's $1 a day with this being a leap year. I figured that would be a fun little goal to try to achieve and see if I can make $1 a day from passive income through my dividends. Goal number 4 isn't a straight investing goal. It's actually to have a $0 net worth. So I've been using the net worth calculator on the Ramsey website. Obviously, he's very focused on paying off your debt, getting that net worth up. So it takes into account, your liabilities, stuff that you owe money on, versus your assets, stuff that brings you wealth. It gives you the difference between the two. So I plugged the numbers for, the house that my wife and I live in, the cars that we own, our savings and all that. And drum roll, please, it gives us a total net worth of negative $10,800.
Honey, you're broke.
On paper, that obviously doesn't look great, but for my age and where I expect to be, I don't find that the end of the world. So by the end of this year, I hope to have my wife's car paid off, another dent into our student loan debt, as well as have some more into our investment account. So I think attaining a $0 net worth is very achievable, and I'm pretty much expecting to be that or somewhere in the green by the time 2025 rolls around. And my final goal is I want to have a dividend CAGR of a teenager this year at 13%. So if you look at my portfolio currently, I have a CAGR estimated of 12.56 based off the average of all the previous numbers. I want to see it go a little bit above that. And I've really taken some time to sell out of some higher yielding positions in favor of ones that are growing more aggressively, like Kroger, MasterCard, Granger, Broadcom. I really want to see my yield on cost go up over time as opposed to be more focused on getting that cash flow now at my age. Because realistically, I'm not going to need that dividend income for a good 20, 30 years. So I want to make sure that I'm getting a good yield on cost, as well as getting into some stocks that are going to grow over time as well. So I want to make sure my CAGR, that's my big focus this year, becoming a teenager. But that is all I have for you guys today. Those are my 5 core goals that I have for my wealth this year. I'd love to know what you guys are trying to get your wealth up, to get your finances up, and to get your dividend income up. So please, in the comments, let me know what are some of your goals for the 2024 year. But outside of that, I've been Average Andy. And remember, even though it may not always be the most fun path, the average path is usually the best.